Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. Hey, before we get started with our very special guest today, I just want to say thank you to Emergo Academy. Emergo Academy is our newest sponsor here on The Other Side of Addiction podcast, and we are just so grateful for these guys. I mean, Dave and Susan Kenny are flipping amazing. I actually took their course to be certified as an international crisis and recovery coach. And they're all about the brain first method. And that's what I really enjoyed about wanting to coach with these guys, is because they are about the brain first approach. So when I sit down with a client, we actually don't sit and talk about the addiction and that. We actually get into the head and let them figure out what it is that they're suffering from, because a lot of us know in the addiction community, it's not really the drugs, alcohol, porn, gambling, eating, shopping, work, whatever it may be. It's what we are trying to numb that is inside of us. So if you guys are even looking at just wanting to change your life and not even interested in being a crisis and recovery coach, I highly recommend checking out Emergo Academy. Their website is emergoacademy.com. Check them out, guys. They will really help you see things and see life in a totally different way. So thank you, Emergo Academy. We greatly appreciate you guys. So today I am honored, and it is a privilege to have on the show for a second time. I think she was on the show about 2 years ago. My lovely friend, Kerri Lewis. And today we're going to be talking about embracing unconditional love. And I'm really excited for this show. As you can see, Kerri is full of energy. I love this gal. Kerri, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, first off, I love you immensely. I was telling you before we went on live that you have a beautiful spirit and you can see it in your eyes. So, and then shout out, I've never even heard of these people except for through Al, but Emergo Academy, because I've studied neuroscience, quantum physics. I understand that to really tap into unconditional love, you've got to examine what's going on in between these two ears and really releasing what no longer serves you. So shout out to them for supporting my amazing friend, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, we follow each other on social media, and man, I just love seeing you and Nana's, I mean, spirits. You guys are all over. You guys always seems to have a smile on your face. Now, I know I don't get to see you every day, what your normal life and stuff is, but what I know of you, and being having you as a friend, a really good friend here the last couple of years. I mean, again, I love your energy and your spirit, because both of us have gone through our own trials, right? And we've suffered some darkness, and we have just really clawed our way through that darkness to find our light. And something I share all the time, Kerri, and I want to make sure I bring this up before you get going here. I share all the time when I was a guest on your podcast a couple of months ago. The question that you asked me, Al, what brings you joy? And I matter of fact, I shit you not, I was just telling a lady this at the gym this morning. And I said, at first I said that was a really good question. I've never been asked that question. Then I realized I had. And my answer was usually spending time with my grandkids, um, hiking, golfing, just life. But then I stopped myself and I really got thinking. And I said, the only answer I could give Kerri, which really even shocked me coming out of my mouth, was, for the first time, I can say that Al Richards is truly in love with himself. And then here we are, we're going to talk about embracing unconditional love. It's kind of the same thing, right? It's the unconditional love of letting go of who we used to be as somebody that lived in the darkness to who we are today, but accepting that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and not only that, but accepting the messiness of life. We are humans, right? I have studied world theology, quantum physics, neuroscience. And I'm going to tell you right now, one thing I know to be true is I am dualistic. I operate in the negative and the dark and the positive and the light. And it's really just being aware of what's going on in between here and making the choice. Am I going to lean into love or am I going to lean into fear? Because I really believe that when you strip down all of the emotions, those are the two dichotomies we live in, right? If anger comes up, it's fear. If sadness comes up, it's fear. It's getting curious about your belief systems and then examining it and releasing it. But unconditional love is me loving you. me loving an individual whose choices I do not even understand and not having an expectation of them being anything different, seeing beyond this understanding of what a good human looks like, and then allowing myself to be present in this moment. And all of that, I'm a hot mess express, but I love myself. Like, I am my most favorite person. And I love that you love yourself that much too, which is why we're friends.
That is why.
Mhm.
And I love that how you put that, Kerri, about, even somebody that you really don't know very well, or however it is, what might be going on, to have that unconditional love, right? Because again, we don't know what's going on up here in their head.
Yep.
And I mean, we've been here in Salt Lake, we've been experiencing some different things in the recovery community with some stuff. And there's some stuff I'm just really scratching my head at, just going, wow, I just can't believe this is actually happening. And why is this going on? However, when you look at it as the unconditional love part, it's like, you know what? That's okay. Really, seriously, it is okay. Because
Yeah.
as long as we're staying in our truth, and we don't have to dig in to find that sliver, whatever is going on, right? Just let it flow and have that unconditional love and just let it be, because then we're not creating any more turmoil or drama in our life, correct?
100%. That's the thing, is people don't realize that us telling stories about what's going on externally is only causing our own suffering. But the problem is most people aren't aware of those repeated belief systems, those repeated thoughts in their mind. And so they're just going along thinking, oh, everything's happening against me, things aren't working out, when really, when you step back and you just observe it and you're like, whoa, well, that's interesting, what's coming up, you're able to identify a belief and decide whether it serves you or not. And I will tell you, Al, this is my own process. If I run into Al and I feel anything but unconditional love, and I mean anything, I have a reaction, oh, he's not professional looking, or oh, he thinks he's so cool at the gym lifting 50 pounds, right? These are all thoughts that one might have. I know I've had it. I ask myself, "Ooh, girlfriend, what's coming up for you there? Why are you feeling small? What part of you needs to be nurtured, that you feel that you need to judge somebody else's experience?" And then inevitably, I have an insight or an aha moment, maybe not in that moment, but because I gave myself permission, I gave my brain permission to give me the answer. I'll be dancing, and all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, yeah, I was at the gym 15 years ago when somebody made fun of me because I was lifting a 2-pound weight and I felt really small. But I didn't see the fact that I was in the gym lifting a 2-pound weight. So I can choose to still feel small. I can let that story go and be like, girlfriend, you in the gym lifting 2 pounds like a bad queen you are. Say less.
Right? It's that celebration, right? Because you can see the excitement.
100%.
So I was on a call earlier this morning, and I'm in a new training. I'm working with an organization called Fly, and it stands for Fulfill Life Yourself, right? And again, it's all about training the brain, right?
Yeah.
Rewiring the brain, different neurons, healthier neurons. And it's really funny because as I was talking with the facilitator who's helping me in my training, she asked what was going on. And I told her a few things, and she goes, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." She goes, "Are you celebrating?" And I'm like, my gosh, I've never really thought of that. She goes,
Really?
"Celebrate it. Celebrate." Because I had to go through a 5 hour video, right?
Yep.
And they really wanted you to watch the whole 5 hour in one sitting, but they also said, if not, just do what you can do. And I kept trying to find times to do it, and something would come up and I couldn't. But anyway, I finally got to it and I finally finished it. And I texted her, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I finished it," right? And she goes, "You celebrated that. Why don't you celebrate other little teeny things, like something that's that small, like somebody that's really irritating you and it's getting under your skin, but then you realize it and you allow, well, that's just me. That's not them. That's me. Celebrate that you recognize that." And I went, oh my hell, I got to start doing more celebrating.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I am my greatest cheerleader. I kid you not. This morning I'm in a spin class. It's 5:15. I celebrated. I got my butt up at 4:20, knowing I had a full schedule today. Then I'm in spin and I'm listening to all these people, and I realized I was comparing my progress to others. I celebrated the fact that I recognized that I was comparing myself. Then I was going through a really hard workout, and literally the guy next to me had to be laughing because I'm like, Queen, you know you got this. You limitless, you formless, you boundless. You know you can get this. And then I finished the class. I spilled water everywhere. I celebrated the fact that I killed the workout. And then I celebrated the fact that I recognized that I was like, oh my God, they're going to think something about me. I spilled water. And then I just laughed. I'm like, oh my God, why do I care? I went and got the paper towels, wiped up the spill, and kept it moving. And that's the thing is people don't realize if we're sum total of what 70 to 80,000 thoughts that are created from belief systems we have, and we're not always aware of that belief because that's some deep rooted stuff that gets peeled back layer by layer. We have a responsibility to ourselves to start, instead of tearing ourselves down, which most people do. Oh, I spilled water, what's wrong with you? You should be more careful, the classroom's going to judge you. Be like, okay, you just recognize that some made up story about somebody you don't know might be thinking something that you have no idea whether. Just clean it up and then celebrate that you were able to process that. And it happens in real time, nanoseconds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Most definitely. Cause, it's just like, oh my gosh, what's her name? Mel Robbins,
Yep.
right? He wrote that book, Just Let Them.
Yep.
It's so amazing that when you just let them, it doesn't matter what anybody else is
Doesn't.
thinking, right? And
Yep.
most of the time, we just look at them and we go, oh, like what you said, oh, this is probably what they're thinking. When really, we don't really
We
freaking know
have
what
no
they're thinking.
idea.
It's
Yeah.
just our own brain trying to tell us, it's our subconscious trying to say, hey, I'm here to protect you. This person could be thinking that,
Yep.
and with all that you said, how important do you feel it is for us as individuals to break away and break free from our old patterns, especially ones that put us in situations that we seem to always get ourselves in, which are not good situations because of our thought process?
Well, so here, that's a very nuanced question, or for me anyway, the answer, because I have two schools of thought. I have like the logical, right? The person who understands quantum physics, neuroscience, the biology of our belief systems. I've studied a lot for 31 years, but I also have the spiritual. And so I really do believe that everything is happening for us. So if you're stuck in that thought pattern, right? There really is a reason for it. However, and this is where, again, for the listening audience, I've studied world theology from the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, parts of the Quran. And one running theme is, we have free will. And quantum physics proves, right, like we exist in two energies. There's a positive and a negative, and there's a neutral. And two positives will neutralize and then start a positive momentum. I think that the bigger question is asking yourself in this moment, do I like the experience I'm having? And if you don't, right, giving yourself permission to have a different experience, because that's the problem. Is I think we get caught up in this, oh, I have to change this and I have to change that, and that creates judgment. And then there's an opposite, but additionally it opens us up to tear ourselves down more frequently, because it's like, oh, I need to change this belief or this pattern or this habit, and then I picked up the phone, so now I'm bad because I didn't change that belief. Instead, say, do I feel good right now? Do I feel joyful? I don't feel joyful. What is one thing I can do right now that's going to make me feel joyful, and then do it. And you do that over and over and over again. You don't have to worry about breaking old patterns of behavior. You don't have to worry about belief systems. You don't have to worry about your past, because you've stepped so far into joy that that ceases to exist. And because we're magnets now, right? Like energy attracts like energy, obviously, you, my buddy, right? As soon as we give ourselves permission enough times to have joy, more joy comes to us. I meet the people that bring me happiness. I meet my significant other at a gas station while waiting for an inspection sticker, and you just keep choosing what feels good for you.
I love that answer. And I had a feeling that's the direction that you was going to go with it, because really it is. It's about really just something so simple, right? It's just changing one little thing
Yep.
to get us to do. And like you said, the more that we do it, the more our neurons they change, right? We start firing the healthier neurons. I remember when I took my class to be a crisis and recovery coach, one of the things that our coaches asked us to do, they're like, if you brush your teeth with your right hand, we want you to brush them with the left hand for the
Yep.
next 7 to 10 days, and opposite the other way. And I remember the first time I did it that night, I was like, holy shit, I had toothpaste all over me because I was missing my mouth and it was on my cheek and my chin. And it's that process, like you said, right? Instead of worrying about that other stuff, do something that makes you feel good, because those feel good start changing something inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you start seeing the shifts slowly start happening. And I got goosebumps on this side over here because I had friends before, but the friends and the people, especially those who are inside my bubble, are some of the most amazing freaking people. And sometimes I scratch my head going, how in the hell did I deserve these type of people in my life? And
Really?
it was just every once in a while. And it's just because I go back and I start connecting those dots backwards, right? It's like I started doing this to to change my life and to make me feel good. I didn't like the person I was. So what did I need to do to become the person I wanted to be? Where did I start? I started out back to physical fitness because that always made me feel good. I had nowhere else to start. And
Yeah.
that's where I started. And it just kept leading into so many different things. And I kept attracting the right people in my life. And now the people that I have around me that surrounded me, who have been there for me through, I mean, there to help me when I lost my leg, and there to comfort me, and when I lost my past wife, and just, I'm just going, my gosh, it is so true how this universe and how our spirit and how our energy works. It literally works that way.
Yeah, and that's why the listening audience, if I can encourage you to consider one thing, whether you believe in science or theology, right? Spirituality, and I don't subscribe to religion because I think that that's dogma, but um free will. You have the power of free will, and asking yourself, does this feel good for me or does it feel icky? The other thing that I find, and I've worked extensively with people, permission. People resist giving themselves permission. They're like, who am I to give myself permission to have a good time? Who are you not? What are you talking about? I think for me, I spend more time working with individuals to get them to give themselves permission to have a different experience rather than actually have the different experience. Because as soon as you decide, oh, I want to have this experience, well, you're halfway there. And then all you have to do is pick up the drink with your left hand. But we're like, oh no, I couldn't do that. Nope, that's not for me. Nope, my belief tells me. And in that, you prevent yourself from knowing, to your point, man, the universe is totally for you. It wants you to have the best experiences. And to your point, Al, I mean, I love my life. I just think I woke up this morning. I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, I mean, I'm just like, whoa, you can't make this up, but like it's like a dance. I'm like, yeah. And it just keeps getting better and better. And it's only because I gave myself permission. I say, yeah, you know what? I could attach to the old story that Kerri struggled with drug addiction, sex addiction, alcoholism, workaholism, wasn't a fit parent. Or I could be like, wow, man, in choosing to do what brings me joy in this moment, I've broken free from those addictions. I've built a global business. I've connected with the most amazing people like Al Richards, who I love watching your content, because instead of being like, oh, I lost my leg, oh, this is unfair, life's happening for you. And I'll never forget you using it as a cup holder. Me and Nana were cracking up when we saw that. And I'm like, see, them are my people, because you don't take it seriously. We're meant to enjoy life, not try to work our way through life. It's really meant to be experienced. Like, what is going to be the experience that makes your heart happy right now? And when you do that over and over again, you will know freedom that I cannot articulate in this conversation or even in words.
Oh my gosh, that word freedom, right? I mean, seriously, it there goes the goosebumps
I
again.
know, mine too.
Here
I'm
it
like,
here it
oh.
goes, right? It really opens up more of that.
Yeah,
I've talked to a lot of people here in the last few years, and especially doing what I'm doing now, and also what I've learned myself. And we hold ourselves back so much,
yep,
right? It's like we've got a team of horses ahead of us, man, and they're just wanting to go. They're just wanting to go, and we keep pulling back the reins, going, no, it's not the right time. No, I'm not ready. Well, when the hell are you going to be ready, right?
right?
If you just freaking go, you'll know right away if you're ready or not. But you've
Mhm.
got to you've got to let those horses run.
Yep,
If you get down the trail or the road a quarter of a mile and you realize, okay, wait a minute, yeah, this is going a little bit too fast. Okay, pull back the reins a little bit. But my gosh, we hold ourselves back so freaking much,
yep,
so much because of our own self beliefs that are inside of us,
yep,
and it's holding us back to so many amazing things. I mean, I did a post, I don't know, quite a few months ago that said, I have realized that I have now lived more years than I have left in my life, right? And and I'm going, what am I going to do with the rest of the years God's given me? It could only be a year, it could be a month, it could be a week. It could be a day. I don't
yep,
know. But I'm going to make it the best fucking day that I can possibly make it, even when life throws the shitballs at me,
yeah,
because I don't want to go out being miserable. I want to go out going, man, I gave it every shot I had, right?
everything. Yeah. Marianne Williams says our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who am I to be bright, shiny, boisterous, and whatever? But really, who are you not to be? So whether or not you believe in anything outer, the reality is you are here in this time space reality to co-create with whatever. So why not co-create expansively? Like, I truly fundamentally have trained my brain to know that I am limitless, limitless. If I bump up into something, instead of saying, I can't do this, this is hard, I shut down my eyes, I breathe into my body, and I start saying, I was created in creation. I co create with creation. I exist in creation. I'm limitless, boundless, formless, expansive, and free. Think about, and this is what I encourage your listening audience to do. Kinesiology, muscle testing, your body will tell you what's true and what's false in an instant. So if you want to know what's real versus the narratives and the propaganda and anything that's out there that isn't, all you do is close down your eyes, tell yourself a limiting statement. I'm not worthy. I'm a piece of crap. And feel your body. It's immediately going to be like, nah, bro, what is wrong with you? And then clear it. So take a couple deep breaths, close down your eyes, and say, I'm limitless. I'm boundless. Now, you might have resistance in the beginning because it's going to feel like an untruth. But even that, your body will start to feel that being true, and it's going to respond accordingly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've done those tests to where, you can do this thing,
Yeah.
right? And it's like,
100%.
tell yourself that you're a different name. And it's like, okay, my name is Joe. See, I can break through it. Now, if I
Yep.
tell myself the truth, my body knows and say, my name's Al. Literally, I cannot, and I'm not holding anything different. I really, our listeners, please try it.
Yeah.
Seriously, try it. You will see what Kerri's talking about, because it is so true. And with that, it kind of, what popped in my head too was how we use our words, right? You
100.
talked about the negative words. How many of us not really knowing. And it's just because it's just how society has groomed us, right? We just do it, right? It's like what you talked about spilling the drinks. Like, oh, I just spilled my freaking mushroom coffee. Oh man, what a dumbass. That was so
Yep.
stupid of me doing it. Well, you were knocking yourself down left and right by doing that. Instead of just going, oh, geez, man, what a freaking jokester or something. I just spilt this, right? It's like, oh, well, change it. And how many people I've heard people say, and this is a word I have completely gotten rid out of my vocabulary, and it's the hate word. I do
Yes.
not like that word. And I mean it, how many people have heard where you've heard them say, you know, I don't know why I'm wearing this blouse. I really hate it. Just just that alone is changing everything that's going on inside you. Or it's
Yep.
like, I don't know, I hate these shoes. They're old, they're right. Well, then change that around. Change your wording around. Don't call yourself stupid. Don't say the H word, or don't say you're ridiculous,
Yeah.
because all that's doing is like what Kerri's been trying to explain. You're knocking yourself down, and that's not what we want to do. We want to build that energy.
So I saw a clip yesterday of a guy winning a Grammy. I don't know, some award. And I listened to his speech because of what the title said. And it was basically uplifting people. But I watched what he had to say. And he said what you said that I hear a lot of people say. I'm not trying to be braggadocious or tout my own thing. Now, I really want you to think about this. If we are kings and queens, which we are, we exist in this time and space. I don't think I'm better than you, Al. I don't think I'm better than the homeless man on the street, but I don't think I'm less than the most powerful person in this world. The only person I have to reconcile with is God. I was created by creation, and therefore I am a queen. So when I say I overcame addiction, I have a global business, I don't think I'm better than you. I will still have a conversation with a homeless person on the street, but I damn sure know my worth, and I'm not going to diminish it because it bothers you that I know my worth. The only difference is I know your worth and you don't know your worth.
Yeah.
And I'm big about that. I'm really big about, and that bothers people. People feel very uncomfortable when I say that. But it really, what I encourage them to do is look at what you've been trained to have, me knowing that I am a queen and deserve to be treated as such, versus, why shouldn't you know that? Like, that to me is even more perplexing than you being bothered that I think that, and then how can I get you to see the gifts that you have so that one day you step up with that crown held high talking about, oh, you a queen? Oh, you right, you queen. I'm a queen too. Oh, and you a king? Oh, we gonna king and queen it together in this world.
Yeah. Well, you
Yep.
did that. You did that to me when I was a
Yeah,
guest
I
on
did.
your show, right?
Yep.
Well, I can't remember what we was talking about. And I said, I'm not here to toot my own horn. And we kind of finished the conversation. And you said, hey, I want to call you out on something,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, why wouldn't you want to toot your own horn? What the hell's
Yeah.
wrong with it? And I was going, huh, gosh, she's right. Why not? Because I worked my ass off to get to where I'm at in this
That's
point,
what
right?
I'm
And
saying.
I don't look at myself as better as anybody else, because none of us are. None of
Nope.
us are better than anybody else, and it doesn't matter what your background is, the color of your skin, it doesn't matter however you look at life, political, none of that effing matters at all. So that taught me something that day that you did that to me on your show. And I'm like, gosh, yeah. Again, that's that celebration. Why not celebrate tooting our own damn horn?
Yeah, and I had a client ask me because she's like, "Well, what about humility?" And here's the thing. Again, it's looking at where it's coming from. Is it coming from pride? Oh, I'm better than Al Richards because I studied this for 31 years. Or is it, oh my God, I attract Al Richards because he and I have studied the same stuff and our energy is so powerful and we both know that we're worthy and deserving. So it really is an understanding of yourself. And again, going back to the topic, unconditional love. When you love yourself immensely, the only thing that you're concerned with is helping really experiencing joy, right? Because I embody joy, and in embodying joy, I give other people permission to embody joy.
Mhm.
Talk is cheap, Al. I can't tell you how many people I've watched have programs tell you to do this. What do you need to do? And then they don't do it themselves. But if I do it, guess what? I'm a living, breathing embodiment of joy. If I say, oh, I'm gonna build a business, but I'm gonna spend most of my days having fun, being silly, working out, and then I do it, you're more inclined to give yourself permission to do that. And that's what I really encourage people to do. Additionally, if I love myself so much, I am way too busy enjoying my life to be focused on what's wrong with you. In fact, I want to highlight what gifts you bring to the world so that you can elevate my experience along with your own. Because we are one, guys. We are connected no matter how you slice it. And if I cause harm to Al, I cause harm to myself. And science proves it. Quantum physics shows every force creates an opposite and equal force. Every action is going to create an opposite and equal action. I'm going to give you an example. I was talking to an individual today, and I had to fill out a survey about dress code for my children's school. And I have an issue with the dress code because I feel that if we want our children to learn to be fully expressed, they need to be able to wear what they want to wear. Now, do my kids choose things that I would not necessarily want for them? Of course. But how are they going to know what signals they send out if they don't have that experience? If they wear short booty shorts and somebody cat calls them, well, maybe they might be like, oh, now that's their choice. Or they could be like, dude, step off. I got to wear what I want. Anyway, the guy was like, well, you know, if you see a guy who bends over and his butt crack is hanging out, yell out the window, hey buddy, thanks for making me throw up in my mouth because I saw a butt crack. And I stopped him and I said, well, you can have that experience. That gets to be yours. But I'm going to tell you right now, I know quantum science. And if I know that the energy I send out is coming back to me, why would I ever send out a judgment, a negative energy on anybody? Because I may yell out and say that. And then fast forward 3 hours later, somebody flips me off or I get in a car accident because what I send out is coming back to me. It's
Mm-hmm.
a law. It's a universal law. So that's the other thing, guys. You know, we hear so much about be careful about what you say, but be careful about what you say to yourself. Think about it. If you're tearing yourself down, you're attracting that energy because what you send out, even to yourself, has to reflect back to you. So if you know that, if you understand that, then start giving yourself permission to be kind to yourself. Because if I'm kind to myself and I'm walking down the street and some stranger goes, yo, I really like your haircut. And I'm like, thank you. It's because I was kind to myself.
Yeah. Amen. Amen to that. And it is crazy, huh? How all of us throughout our life, we're really good at complimenting other people and we can't compliment ourselves. And it's so hard for us to do that. It
You
is so
know,
difficult.
Sunday, Nana and I were driving to the Patriots game, and I had just hung up with clients, and I had asked the individuals what they love about themselves. And of course, crickets. So we're driving, and I just, me and Nana jamming, and I look over and I said, babe, what do you love about yourself? And he paused and he's like, oh my God, nobody's ever asked me that question. And then proceeded to list 20 things, like boom, 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 boom. And then he goes to me, well, what do you love about yourself? I was like, I love my eyes. I love that I'm curious. I love that I'm a phenomenal mother. I love that I can humble myself when I think like something and then I realized that that thought was judgment or whatever. I just go on and on. And again, like that is how much I love myself. Like know I know every area that I'm working on being more aware of. And that's the thing, is it's not even about trying to change it, because once I'm aware of it, it naturally changes anyway. But I love that I'm open to that. And I love, like, there's even the things that I dislike about myself, I love about myself, because it's just opportunities to learn how to love myself more.
I love how you put that. That is perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Right. You all you're doing is just changing it around. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I had 2 kids that have stretch marks. I'm like, I'm a warrior Kruger and I am rocking stretch marks and can bench 75 pounds.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, and
That
it
is
and
the choice.
well, and again, it is really that simple, right? We make it harder than what it really is. We
Yeah.
we really do. And just by even changing a single word or I mean, I've been trained that just a certain action, right? Like you can snap your fingers and it kind of changes the energy within the body, or slamming your hand. And as a matter of fact, the facilitator that I was working with this morning, um, we were laughing about celebrating, right? To
Yeah.
celebrate little stuff. And I started laughing and she's like, "What did you find funny, Al?" And I'm like, I tell friends all the time, like I have some lady friends at the gym and I know their boyfriends and stuff, and I know them really well. And I'm like, hey, when you see Nick, sometimes I say, give him a hug for me. And then the last time I told my friend, I said, hey, when you see Nick, give him a nice game. And I slapped myself on the ass and she started
So
laughing. So
funny.
so anyway, we ran into him at the night lights, Brooke and I, and Nick goes, "Oh, by the way, Andrea gave me the nice game," and I started laughing, and I'm like, "That is so freaking cool." He said, "But she did go a little bit further." I'm like, "Well, I don't need to hear that part, But so my facilitator goes, "Well, have you thought about doing that for yourself?" And I'm like, "Man, I just may have to go around and start slapping myself on the ass, going nice game. Why
Listen,
not?"
I mean, I know you've seen me and Nana's content, and I won't even bring it all up here. But let me just say, when you love yourself, there is zero filter. You just show up and you just have fun. And I think that that is really important that people understand is we limit ourselves when we filter ourselves. And that's the other thing that I really want to impress upon people. Me and Nana can be considered crass or crude, or we can say inappropriate jokes. I offend some people, but those aren't my people. So they fall away. I shed them. But in shedding them, I open up more space to get people who are okay with me being 100% fully expressed Kerri and Nana. And that's why. And the other thing that I would encourage your listening audience to do is just start to be aware of the people you're around. Do they lift you up? Do they breathe life into you? Or do they tear you down? And even if they're your family and they're seemingly loving to you, there's that crab analogy. You know, when you start to push up against what you've known, the people who love us, they are operating from their own fear because we're magnets. So you have to understand everybody that you are around thinks like you. That's true. Unless you're actively working with somebody who's done more work and guiding you or supporting you or whatever, everybody around has the same insecurities, same self-loathing, same, it may present differently, but you could not hang out with them if they didn't operate in shame, guilt, fear. So when you know that and then you start going up, they're going to operate from their understanding. It's not good, bad, right, wrong. It's just what they know. So you don't judge them, but they're going to try to bring you back down. So
Yeah.
look at who you're around. And if you can't find one person who just accepts you for the whole of you, I encourage you to step out and find somebody who can honor you where you're at exactly as you, because that's going to start helping you recognize the people that you've outgrown, and then give yourself permission to go to people who are going to serve your growth and expansion in a more supportive and loving way.
Yeah, that is 100% right. You know, um, I'll even share a little bit about my experience just to go a little further of what you just said. And it's crazy too that people that are around you, how they know your energy. You know, it was so crazy that when my past wife fell into her addiction, and I didn't realize it was really dragging me down as much as it was. And I've done a lot of networking throughout the years, and Al has always been known as I walk into a room and man, my energy goes out and I'm going around shaking people's hands. I'm hugging people, I'm talking to new people, introducing myself, introducing them to other people. And I'd walk into a room and I'd do this same thing, but really I was putting on an act because of where I was at in my life and not realizing that that ball and chain was connected to me and it was dragging me down that rabbit hole slowly. And I finally had someone, people coming up who knew me and they're like, "Hey, are you okay?" And it's like, "Yeah, man, I'm freaking great." And they're like, "Nah, there's something off.
Love
There's
that.
something off about you that we just can't quite." There's a lot of us that are worried about you. And it's like, you don't need to be worried, man. I'm great. So I'm lying to them and I'm lying to
Nice
me.
yourself.
Right.
Yep.
So when I'd leave these networking groups, I would be freaking exhausted. I mean, literally, like, I'm not a nap person, but it would be almost like I would want to take a nap because I could hardly keep my eyes open. And
Yeah.
it took me so much time, and finally someone that finally sat me down and said, okay, come clean. What the hell is going on? And I finally opened up. It's kind of like the first time I opened up about my own addiction on my podcast, 3, 4 years ago. All of a sudden, all this weight just starts melding off of you, and you start sitting up straighter, and you start feeling so much better about yourself. And it's crazy because now that I've learned energy and being around so many people that I have attracted into my life, it doesn't take me very long to be by someone and go, this is a person that I will keep at a distance.
Yep.
It's not that I'm
Yep.
kicking them out of my life or there's messed up or there's something wrong with them. It's just this is somebody that has an energy I don't want to be around because they will suck that freaking energy out of me, and I don't want my energy taken. So it's crazy how we fall into that because I did that many times, right? I would get my energy build up, and then I'd bring somebody back in, and people are going, dude, every time that person comes back into your life, we see a change in you. You totally change. You don't feel it. However, maybe you do, and you're not recognizing. That's probably what it is you're not
Oh,
recognizing.
and that's the thing. I think, listen, I am so highly in tuned. If my client is in crisis, I know to send them something. I don't make up a story. I know that is how much I trust my intuition and my energy. I feel people's energy. I feel authenticity. But we all have that gut feeling. It may not be as pronounced because we overthink it to death, but we all know this is not working for me. And then we convince ourselves. And this is where being aware, right? And that's why I'm not sure the name of the company that you're sponsored by, but we're really understanding your brain and being curious is super helpful because when you start to recognize, you're like, oh, why am I lying to my wait a minute? Your intuition just becomes spot on and you don't have to make up stories. So I'll give you an example. And this is pure unconditional love. I was set up to do workout class, right? And a new trainer came in and she changed the workout and it was a lot of jumping. I literally picked up my stuff, put it down, walked out the door. I don't know why. I didn't need to know why. I trust myself enough to know that that class was not in service to me. Furthermore, I love myself enough to know I don't have to explain it to anybody. I don't owe anybody an explanation. I can walk into a room, let's say my vibe, walk out and not be any worse for the wear. Whereas so many people like, oh, I have to explain myself or I have to stay in here because it's impolite to leave before you stay an hour. And I hear people tell me this all the time. I'm like, well, who says? Because not for nothing, you don't have to do anything but stay true to yourself and take care of yourself. That is your ultimate responsibility. And when we go back to this title, which is Unconditional Love, guys, the reason I say that is when you love yourself unconditionally, you are contributing positively to the collective energy of everybody. You just really are. And I was sharing this with my friend Yanko earlier. I cannot stand the words teach peace. Can't stand it because 99% of the world doesn't know peace. So instead of saying teach peace on all these signs, why don't you sit and put embody peace? Because if I'm peaceful, you're going to feel that. And then you're going to tap into, oh, what's making Kerri peaceful? And then you're going to be peaceful. And then you're going to. Gandhi did not break India free from Britain by teaching. He embodied, he made a choice every moment to choose love over judgment, love over fighting, love over. And as a result, he gave more people permission to make those choices over and over. And at the end, he was able to free a country through love rather than fear. And that is really what you can do when you embody unconditional love.
Yeah, amen to that 100%. 100%. And it takes time for us to get there, right? So
It's a
some of
process.
our
Yeah.
listeners, us as human beings, man, we want everything freaking right now. We want satisfaction. Gosh, I can't even talk about. We want to be satisfied immediately,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't happen. There's certain things it takes time. It took time for us to get to one point in our life. It's going to take time to get to other point. People seem to give up so quickly. However, with everything that you have shared today, and for our listeners, all it takes is just taking that first step and do something small, right? So we talked about celebrating things, right? Celebrate something really cool. Celebrate that you did open up your eyes this morning.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I got to see another day. We have beautiful Wasatch Mountains in our, I mean, right now you look and with the fall coming, you look up to the east at our Wasatch Mountains and you see yellows and you see reds and you still see some greens. Celebrate that you get to see that, right? Because there's people that cannot see that. So celebrate it. Don't take it for granted that they're just mountains with colors and the trees are turning. So what? Who gives a shit? It's fall. Who really cares? No, embrace it, suck it in. That is your step. That could be your first step. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kerri, because you know this a lot more than me.
I don't know that. I think we have different perspectives, but I'm going to say this. If I I really have a visceral reaction to, you know, comparing yourself to another person's experience. Oh, you should celebrate it because some people can't. And because again, there's a negative energy with that.
Okay.
Instead, the bigger thing that I would ask people, because awareness is everything. You're not even aware. Ask yourself, am I able to celebrate anything? That is going to give you insight to make a different choice. Am I able to appreciate the fall leaves? And it might be, well, what's the point? That answer is telling you no. And instead of judging, well, what's the point? Wow, that's interesting. I can't celebrate the leaves. Is there anything? And it's about, listen, curiosity, man. If you can give yourself permission to have a new awareness, just I give myself, this is what, you know what? I'm going to leave your listening audience with what I share with everybody. And I do this 100% of the time. If I catch myself in ego, which is all the time, I suspend what I think I know. I'm open to all possibilities in the highest good of everybody. That just said, I don't know if I can celebrate it, but I'm open to trying. And I'm not just in it for me, the selfish I'm open to whatever experience I can have that is in the best interest of everybody. That means I may not be able to celebrate the leaves, but I may be able to celebrate a hot cup of black coffee, or and just give yourself permission to have that experience, and don't judge whether you can look at the leaves. Or the minute you go into judgment, you just lost the ability to grow and expand into deeper levels of understanding of yourself.
I love
And
how you put that. Thank you.
yeah, I definitely want to say one other thing to the listening audience. I've been doing this work for 31 years and I'm still messy. I'm still a hot mess express. Just this morning, I caught myself in judgment. So, Al, myself, and anybody out there, we do not have it figured out. The only difference between you and me and some people who feel like they're trapped in addiction or darkness is that we in this moment have given ourselves permission to have a new experience and then work towards doing that. But I'm no different. And the other thing is worship no idol, none. I don't think that anybody is better than me. Nobody. I don't care if you are the most richest person in the world, or I don't care if it's abundant money. I'm going to worship no idol. I have a responsibility to be true to love. And when I'm in unconditional love, I put nobody above me and I put nobody below me. We are all equals and we all have something to offer each other. Everybody. I don't care if you're a bum on the street struggling to make ends meet, or if you're, suicidal. You have no idea what your one experience with somebody can impress upon them so that they can have an aha moment and have a new experience.
Well put. Well put. I mean, that almost talks about if I asked you at the end of the show, what would you like to leave with our listeners? I mean, that's like a mic drop right there.
Boom.
That
Yeah, you know what?
seriously.
I'm going to leave the listening audience with affirming you, because for anybody out there who follows the other side of addiction, I don't even know, because I just show up to Al's show. Al is curious. Al taps into fun. Al gives people permission to be themselves. Al looks at new perspectives all the time and is open to a new understanding. Al continuously learns things. Al engages in joy often. And not only does he engage in joy, he shares it with others. He sent me pictures of this beautiful woman and this like festival of lights. All of those things and more make up unconditional love. And so if you guys like anything that you're hearing, know that I do read energy. Al, you are super authentic, you're super loving, and I am beyond honored and privileged to be able to share in any space with you because you my people and I love you.
Thank you. And I love you too. And you're my people as well. I think we connected the first time we met on a show. Yeah, we connected very quickly. And you do a lot of amazing things too, Kerri. I want to know, or I actually would like you to let people know how they can find you, because I mean that's what we do, right? We help support one another. You even talked about it just here, just shortly, or just a minute ago, about how we're all here. We can offer so much to everyone, and they can offer stuff to us. So Kerri has an amazing podcast too, and she does a lot of great, and she has a lot of amazing guests on the show, and she has guest co-hosts that come on and have a lot of amazing, really good questions, and it really gets you thinking. How can people find you?
I would say kerrilewis.com, my website, but just click on social media because I really don't even update my website anymore. I just to the point that I'm going to share with the listening audience, I embody fun. And so, find me there. But really, instead of finding me, find yourself. If you can find yourself, then you will make me happy because in that, you were doing a high service to yourself, myself, and the world as at large.
Okay. All right. Well, Kerri, thank you so much for your time. I know you got a busy schedule. You said at the beginning you got a full day. I got a full day as well. Man, I love and appreciate you so much, and so grateful that God put us in contact with one another a couple of years ago, man. It's just been a blessing, and thank you too, also to you. I got to meet Nana as well, and what an
Oh,
amazing
he loves
man he
you.
is too. And I'll say this too: give him a nice game for Al. All
Oh,
right.
you don't worry. I sure will.
I bet. All
Take
right, guys.
care.
Well, hey, again, thank you to all our listeners. Thank you again to Emergo Academy. I love and appreciate you guys. And we're going to leave you with this as we do at the end of every show. Remember, addiction is giving up one thing for everything, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.